Well, hello, my friends. This is Rusty Waller here at the Teaching and Learning Center for the American University of Ras Al Khaimah. In this little video, we're going to examine the expectations and content required for our course files. Now, I wanted to share this with you as we continue because when you look at these expectations, you understand that teaching is a tremendous profession with a lot of work. But teaching is the profession that creates all other professions. So don't panic over what you find as requirements for course files. You can handle it, you can take care of it, you can organize it, and then there is help available, certainly in your department, to provide you some support. Why must we have course files, you may ask? Well, the answer is very simple. They're a requirement of the Commission for Academic Accreditation for the Ministry of Higher Education and Scientific Research here at the United Arab Emirates. Course files are required. This is answer to this question is very similar to a question I asked my father, and I said, "Why do I have to do that?" He said, "Because." Well, we just have to do it because. Those are the expectations here at American University of Ras Al Khaimah related to our accreditation through the Commission for Academic Accreditation. So we really don't have much choice. We have to do the files. So our goal will be simply to determine what needs to be in the files and look at how we might best arrange that. The course file contains several different items. It contains a course syllabus, teaching materials, assessment instruments, examples of student performance, instructor review of the course, quantitative analysis of student performance, and student feedback evaluation. Now, we will proceed to discuss each of these in a little more detail, but you can see that the course file is very organized according to 7 specific topics. What you put in these areas may differ a little from department to department, but the course file is put together for the purpose of demonstrating to the CAA that we have indeed done what we agreed to do when they approved the course. Now, let's start with the course syllabus just a minute. And as mentioned, or as illustrated on the previous slide, you need a present course syllabus and the previous course syllabus if available. I certainly would do what I could in my power if I were you to get a previous course syllabus, but what the intent there is to show that not only are you teaching what's required, but that you are very cognizant of what was taught in the course prior to the section that you have. Now, the course syllabus contains many things, and this may differ a little from department to department, but the course syllabus should contain course information and description. And by this, I mean what is the course name, what is its description, how many semester hours in it, who are you, where is your office, those type things, and how can you be contacted? Those type things should be in the course information and description. You should list your textbook or other required learning resources. You need the student learning outcomes listed in your syllabus. Now, there's been a little consternation recently about the student learning outcomes by many of us that are new faculty by looking at it and saying, we don't think these are what they need to be. Well, the good news is that there's a curriculum revision process here, and if you're going to teach that class, you can go through the curriculum revision process and change the CSLO. The bad news is that you do not need to change these until you have gone through the curriculum revision process. The student learning outcomes were part of the program approval and part of the program accreditation that was submitted to the CAA, so we need to list them in the syllabus until such time as we go through the process to change them. I also list in mine my course goals, and that's optional. I didn't find quite as good a fit between the student learning outcomes as what I wanted to teach and measure. Therefore, I also list my course goals, which are a little bit more specific, maybe break down exactly what I'm going to cover in that class. Now, you may or may not do that, but you do need an assessment plan. In other words, this is how you're going to grade student performance in the course. What is your grading scale going to be? What do they have to do to earn an A, a B, a C, D, or what do they not have to do in order to receive a lower grade than a D. You also should provide some course outline. Here are the topics that will be covered. I generally divide my courses by topics. You may do it a little bit differently, but some plan of what you're going to go through the course is important. Now, this one is extremely important. Your syllabus must include the final exam schedule so that it's very clearly given and provided to the students the expectations in regard to when and where they will take the final exam. Now, teaching materials are the second component of the course files. This is a little bit more nebulous. Some of the things that you might put in there might include lecture notes. I will just simply put copies of my lecture notes in there. Some of the PowerPoints that I may use in the class, I will just convert into and print out as handouts, 2 or 3 to a slide, just so they're evidence of what I taught in the course. If I have assigned readings, I will provide them in the teaching materials, maybe a listing of the films, audios, computer simulations that we may have watched, and other instructional materials required for the course. This will differ from discipline to discipline. However, you will have materials that you put in there. This is intended to show what you taught in the class. Now, assessment instruments are very much an important part of the course files. Quizzes are, if you give them, you need to keep them with model answers and your marking schemes. In other words, here's the quiz, here's the key, and here's how I graded it. Homework, here's the homework, here's the answer to the homework, and here's how I graded it. Examinations, here's the examination, here's the key, here's how I grade it. And project instructions and so forth, and laboratory procedures, guidelines, marking schemes. These, again, may differ from department to department. They may differ from school to school. They may differ from teacher to teacher. Some may give no quizzes and more exams. Some may give exams and a lot of homework. Some may have labs required of the courses. Some may not. The issue is that if you are using something to assess student learning, you need to provide that in the course file with a key and then some insight as to how the grades were calculated. If I gave a 20-question exam and here's the key and then my exam, the 20 questions count 5 points each to a total of 100 points, I would just simply say that. But assessment instruments and then examples of student performance on those assessment instruments are very important parts of the course file. If you give a quiz, you should put in the best one, an average one, or the lowest one. The same for homework, the same for exams, the same for projects, the same for laboratory assignments. Now, here's an idea. Here's how I intend to do this. If I give an exam, I'll grade the exam. I will redistribute it in class to the students. We will talk about it. I will take the exam back up, put it in a stack, stick a paper clip on it. Now I have a copy of that exam with examples of student performance. If I later choose to pull out the best and the average and lowest, I can. If I just want to include all of it in the student file, I can. Other assessments are also part of the examples of student performance. In my case, I have group projects. I will do some reflection assignments where they will write that up. Well, I want to show, of course, if I have a reflection in section 3, I need to show what the answer to it is and how I'm going to grade it. In section 4, I would just, after I graded those, hand them out, discuss it, take them back up, put a paper clip on them, and include them in my course file. Now, the instructor review of a course is a very interesting section. This is a self-evaluation. Now, the question has arisen as to whether or not this is the care form. The answer to that is this is not the care form. The care form is a different form. This is a self-evaluation, and it is available in the faculty handbook. That's the good news. The bad news is right at the moment the faculty handbook is going through revision, but it will be available shortly. This is an instructor reflection on the class and includes such things as what may have been done well, what might be considered for future improvement. I do want to point out to you that as teachers, one of our challenges is to constantly improve what we're doing. Good teachers evaluate themselves. Now, good teachers and all teachers evaluate the administration, they evaluate the students, they evaluate the curriculum. But one of the great challenges we have as teachers is to evaluate ourselves and our own instructional style. We may have experimented with something in this course that was very successful. We would want to note that. We may have noticed a problem in our instruction of some topic that we just couldn't get across to the students, and we might further want to reflect on some strategies for how we may address that next time. The self-evaluation is a very important part of good quality instruction. We want AURAC to be the best institution in the United Arab Emirates, and it will be that because it's got good faculty. If as faculty, we become the very best faculty in the United Arab Emirates, and in order to do that, we need to reflect upon how we teach and examine strategies by which we may be more effective. The next part of this is the analysis of student performance. Listed in the checklist is the grade distribution. Now, I know that you can come up with many other ways that you might analyze student performance. The grade distribution is what is listed in the handout. Maybe how many A's, B's, C's, D's, and F's that were given in the course. I may do some overall sheet that includes the grading of each of the different projects. But this is an important thing, at least, that we have the grade distribution so that we can demonstrate that the course was rigorous. I understand all of the consternation about, well, is it wrong to have too many A's and all of this? Well, that's up to you. You're the teacher. But this is further evidence that you taught the material and that you made it at least rigorous enough to challenge the students. We've all had courses where, you just showed up and you got a good grade. The purpose of this is to show that we really did what we said we would do, and that we taught the class, and that we had academic standards. The last of these is the student feedback on the course evaluation. These are the student evaluation results. Once they are given to us, they go, and that won't be till the course is over, they will go into the course file. Now, here's a helpful hint. Get a box for each class and start putting your material into it. A box. This term I'm teaching Stat 210, so I'll just put me a box. I will label it Stat 210, and as I get my test back, I'll put the paper clip on them, I'll put them in the box. When I've designed the test, put it in there with the key and the rationale for grading it. If you do this on the front of the class, it will make it much easier than trying to do this at the end of the class. Take the semester and develop the materials that you think you need. Well, friends, this video was provided by the Teaching and Learning Center. I hope it met your need. The intent was to demonstrate to you the expectations and content of the course files. Now, I'm a little older than many of you, and I remember Star Trek, so I will close with the old Vulcan dismissal that says, "Live long and prosper." Now, if you do happen to meet a Vulcan, on the other side, the answer is peace and long life. You have a great day, and enjoy the semester.